What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. But let's not make it too blunt. Let's make it official. The official, very blunt sports podcast is on Bring the Pain. Welcome, Tay. Introduce yourself. How you doing?
Yo, what's going on? I'm your host with the most, with here to brag, both celebrate, toast, and you already know I'm here to bring the smoke. As let alone we here to bring the pain too. I like your title, classic Method Man
Yeah,
song. So that's what we came to do. So let's get right
yeah,
into it. The blunt is officially lit. Y'all can smoke with us. Let's
woo,
go.
woo. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just put into context. Method Man, Chris Rock. That's actually one of my favorite stand-ups too. Was Bring the Pain by Chris Rock. So
It's one of mine too.
you see, it just doesn't like there's some very good stand-ups happening right now, but man, back in the day, it's just was those were just monumental, man. I'll even say
That was when it was on HBO and
yep.
you had to catch it on a late night because they had certain censorship that they couldn't share. I think it was like after 12 o'clock.
Yep.
That's when all the real stand-up shit came on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and then just so many years with Def Comedy Jam too. I
Yeah,
loved it.
that
That
brought out a lot of people.
yeah. Almost everybody. I mean, just like anybody that was on that show was practically memorable, and it just always made it fun. And Martin always throwing in his little skits. I loved it, and that's what
It,
people miss nowadays.
it was like if you was a comedian at the time, it was like that was one of the roads that you had to go through. That was like one of the rites of passage, one of the
Mm-hmm.
badges that you had to get to let everybody know, all right, if he did good at Def Comedy Jam, then he on his way to be a star. And Martin had to co-sign you too in his own way.
Yeah, yeah, and then never forget Russell Simmons and everything just going on with that. It was like the whiskey go go for hair metal, or what they would say, like Motley Crue rock and everything like that. That heavy metal back in the day, if they were at the whiskey go go, that's where they went. This was Def Comedy Jam. You went there and you owned it, and that's exactly. And the crowd was always good too. You could get so many different celebrities throughout there. It always was a fun time to watch it with your friends too,
And
family, everything.
it had let you know who was next up, and it had introduced the comedians to a wider audience, and it also that mainstream audience was able to get a look into have some little culture to them. So it worked out good for everybody because damn near everybody that's been on that stage went on to bigger and better things, from Chris Rock to Chris Tucker to
Yep.
Cedric the Entertainer, Steve
Yep.
Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that basically graced that stage and did what they did, rest in peace Bernie Mac.
Yep. Yep. Bernie,
You had to
multiple
go through there.
times. I think he
That
was
was
on
like the
multiple
draft.
times.
That was like the comedy draft right there.
It was. It was the comedy draft. So give me a little background. You from Erie? You born, bred in Erie? You all that? Or did you come from somewhere else? How the hell happened?
No, I'm born and raised in Erie,
Yeah.
raised basically on the west side. I call the west side home, but I lived everywhere in this city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Born and bred here, 814 till I die, representing the Very Blunt Sports Podcast and the new
Yep.
being Blaze, and just trying to represent Erie as a whole, Erie as the culture,
Yep.
because like we said in the private conversation, we need more collaboration. We need more of a sports slash hip hop, scene. We just need it
Mm-hmm.
all. And I'm just trying to be one of the people that'll hold the torch and lead the charge. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely proud of where I'm from, Erie all day.
Yeah, yeah, you raise a lot of things, and a lot of that is because just so many people are so busy all the time that if you're going to be a podcast, you have to make a commitment. You can't just release one or two, three episodes a year and call it a podcast. You have to actually stay with it. It's hard, and for a lot of people, things come up and change and everything. But man, with your what you do every day on your Facebook is amazing. I have to compliment you for that because the
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
traction you do, man, it just you keep it going so much so fast. Like there's people who get paid a lot of money to do what you do. Tell us about that, man. What drives
Well,
you?
I'll be honest with you. I ain't been, on YouTube in a while, ain't been podcasting in a while, because like you said, life been life, and then life happens and you got to stay committed to it. But, some things, happened in my personal life. So
Mm-hmm.
with the page, like you said, with the page, I'm always uploading, doing things. That's just the
Yeah.
way to keep, the podcast, and to keep, my name alive, and to keep me out
Yep.
there. Also, to keep their newbie and Blaze name out there. And plus
Yeah.
sports and highlights and something in music and hip hop, something is happening every day. And I just, want to be one of the first people that report on it, where everybody, see it. It's kind of like, remember how on MTV it was like, doom, you heard it
Yeah.
first. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
I kind of take pride in, when
Yep.
people, see it from my page. And I'm glad that people can differentiate,
Mm-hmm.
whether, if it's true or whether if it's me, just poking fun and joking. So, I
Yeah.
don't just go on there and just, post shit just to post it just because it might sound good or
Yep.
start an argument or whatever, what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I post the facts and we
Mm-hmm.
can, talk about whether if you agree or disagree. I'll leave it wide open for everybody.
You do. And the thing is since I've been affiliated with that page for so long and with you, it just was funny that it's taken us so long to actually do a podcast. Again, life just kind of happens. And for me with Dr. Roto, that kind of really happened. And that's really what pushed me over the edge. But man, just to do fine, like when you were at wrestling and you came up to me, I was
Yeah.
like, dude, we didn't even do a podcast yet. But sitting here following, the first interaction we have is we're both at a wrestling event, man. It's like it's supposed to happen. So that's why I was like, man, I gotta get this happen real fast. Draft around the corner. It's happening.
Yeah, I saw you and I was like, we might as well take the opportunity, now, even though, it was a crowded hallway
Yep.
and, you was doing your thing, I was doing my thing, but, it
Mm-hmm.
was cool that we made it brief and that
Yep.
we talked, how we had talked. And here we is, finally making it happen. This is what I want to happen. This is what
Yep.
is needed, and more shit like this need to happen
Yep. I agree.
because it's introducing my fans to you and you introducing your fans to me.
Yep.
So this is good right here.
It is. And the thing is sometimes when I do a lot of like my content for Dr. Roto, I'm alone because all the other writers have real jobs and things like that. We can't always collaborate, or if we do, it has to be late. So be able to have somebody to pull on like yourself, who's well knowledgeable at the sports, bringing up your topics that you always post every day. Again, there's no
Yeah,
arguments.
thank you.
Everybody always brings their things together, man, for you, dude.
Thank you.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
And I do, and I like I said, it's for everybody. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It
Yeah.
really is, because it's introducing, like some people that might not even watch wrestling or know about
Mm-hmm.
wrestling or stop watching wrestling. When I post, some throwback from Royal Rumble or WrestleMania from the, 80s or 90s, it's bringing, something
Yep.
back out into that wrestling fan who once was a wrestling fan or don't even keep up with
Yeah.
what's going on right now because they feel, the product is ass, and for the most part it has been, and we're gonna get to that.
It just happens. Yeah, it does. It does, man. So let's kick this draft out of the way, and then the rest of the podcast we are going to be talking definitely a bunch of music, sports, wrestling, video games. So the Cowboys come in.
Definitely.
I'm going to run over it right now. You guys' first pick was Tyler Guyton, offensive tackle, 6'8", 322. They said he had a
From
lot of lim.
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Go
got
on.
my notes right here too.
Yeah. I got doing it. They say he limited playing time. He's an exceptional athlete. Does this help that offensive line for you guys?
Right about now, and talking about the draft and talking about everything, considering the Dallas Cowboys, we need any type of help that we can get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
Any
agree.
type of help. I mean, anybody and everybody could look good on paper. I'm looking at these draft picks and I'm looking at, mostly defense, which is cool.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
something that we always struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
So right about now, we need anything and everything as far as like on the field,
Yep.
off the field issues, and front office. That's something different that we're gonna get into.
Yeah, yeah. So, we'll just run it down. So in the second round, y'all took Marshawn Nealand, defensive
Yeah,
end depth. I mean, I think that's a perfect pickup to run behind Micah Parsons and
I like
Demarcus
that pick
Lawrence.
too.
You did? You did? Did you watch him in
Yeah, I
college?
did.
Did you get a chance to
I
watch him in college?
whenever games I was to catch. See, what people got to understand about college, sometimes there's over 100 some odd teams, and every team
Yeah.
ain't gonna get no playing time. And
Nope.
so when we see certain players get drafted and we see their highlights for the first time, it's like, all
Yeah.
right, cool. Maybe, he might be able to fit in. Maybe he might be able to do something. But realistically, any real sports fan to tell you, college football is hard as hell to keep up with.
I know, man. That's why, like, it's like once they get to the NFL, they're all it's like that's all mine. But it's like college, I have to like pretty much when I did the Dynasty IDP podcast earlier in the year, we just pulled some of the college players, didn't know where they were going to fall. Of course, we all know Verse fell to the Rams, but I
Yeah.
brought that up because I was comparing it to Aaron Donald and slipping. Now us getting Fisk, I didn't think we were going to get Brandon Fisk. So to bring both that camaraderie to the Rams and then to follow up with Blake Corum, I mean, I'm ready to see this team kind of go off, but we got defensive line. I think it's shored up. There's a little bit more we have to do, and Matt Stafford has to stay healthy for anything for us to
You know,
do.
it definitely was a good pickup for the Rams. I'll definitely give y'all that. But, let's address the elephant in the room. Somebody like Aaron Donald is going to be missed, going to be gratefully missed. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? 5 years from now, when he's eligible to go into the Hall of Fame, he better
Ooh.
go into the Hall of Fame first ballot. If you look at his stats, you can't
Yeah.
deny him. And it feels good knowing that, if anybody a Ram fan, it feel good knowing that y'all got two to replace one when that
Yeah.
one was equal as two good ass
Yeah.
players. So y'all should be excited.
Yeah. Because that's the whole point, because he was getting triple teamed. So it's gonna take at
Yeah,
least three guys to stop these two monsters.
he
So
was a, he was an Aaron Donald. He was a monster. He was a nightmare. He was
yeah.
a quiet, humble beast, and it was good to. Even if you wasn't a Rams fan, even if you a football fan, it was still good to see him
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
ring.
Exactly. Especially the way they did it. Like I brought that up, recently when you saw that last play and Aaron, you hear all the background talk that Aaron's going to make a play. Aaron's going to make a play. And you see a bust around that side. You didn't even need to know what player that was. You knew what player that was. I
Yeah,
was like,
his presence is going to be missed on the field and in that locker room. And plus,
mhm.
I always looked at that Super Bowl like it was basically designed for y'all to win.
Yeah. Yeah, it
It
was.
was in LA. Y'all was basically playing the home game. The halftime show, was mostly people, from LA or associated, what I'm
Yeah.
saying, with Dr. Dre. So
Yeah.
it was like basically damn near handed to y'all, but not handed to y'all because Cincinnati
Mhm.
was a good team that year.
Yeah, yeah, they were. They were. And that's what's so sad right now. They have the problems with Higgins. Their whole team has practically been gutted, not like the Chargers. Man, the Chargers got ran out. Like poor old Herbert, he just got injured and he comes back and it's like the whole team is gone. I mean,
If you
I mean,
look at the Chargers' history, they always had like some type of something going on with them.
mhm,
They
yeah,
probably got the worst luck in the world as far as like if you really look at and dig deep from the 90s all the way up to when Eli was supposed to go there but wound up
yeah,
not going there. They
yeah,
always had some type of issues or some type of
yeah.
problems
Philip
going on.
Rivers, Drew Brees, like the whole
Exactly.
thing. Just there's always drama. It just and it's like and you bring up a good point because it's kind of like they build up a good team and then it goes. It's like they're like the
It's like
Roman
they build them up
Empire.
to destroy it
Yeah.
because at any given time in that division, any team could win that
Hmm.
division. I mean, Kansas City been Kansas City, but
Yeah. You
at
can't
that
help that.
time, that division was good and it was wide open. Now
Hmm.
it's just like the Chargers is kind of like an afterthought. They really under the Raiders right now.
Yeah, you're right about that because more people cared about the Broncos, more people cared about, like you said, the Raiders, and with when they were in San Diego, the Chargers, and it just was like that division was competitive, and now you step back and you're eliminating a whole team. You're giving him, well, I mean, they got Brandon Rice, but he's a rookie. He's gonna get locked up for a minute, man, until he learns these routes and learns that system, but it's not help to him that he has nobody that's going to pull coverage off him.
I'll tell you this: they treat the Chargers in LA like they the Clippers, and
Yeah.
and and the Rams is the Lakers.
Yep. And it's yeah, I'm a Ram and Laker fan. So for that person out there that's a Charger Clippers fan.
Y'all always listen. The Chargers and the Clippers always gonna be known as that other team in LA.
Yeah, yep. That's just crazy, dude. Good
It's just how it
times.
is. It's
It
just how it
is.
is right now.
It is. So to end up the little bit of the cowboy talk going on, Dak, you think he comes back, or do you think they let him walk?
You know, I think he gonna come back for one more year. And here's why I say I'm gonna come back. He gonna come back for one more year. See, when you a Cowboys fan and you been disappointed as long as I have, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of know the moves without even being in the front office. See,
Yeah.
Jerry ain't gonna never admit that he's wrong. That
Nope.
man gonna fall on the sword, even if you got proof, to show it to his face that he wrong and this is a dumb move. Jerry's still gonna stick to his gut.
Yeah, he
You
is.
know, and so Jerry gonna fall on the sword. And what I say, I'm saying that to say this: Dak is his guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Even if his guy don't work, if you a Jerry Jones guy, you gonna stay around. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? Just like
Yep.
most of the coaches has been Jerry Jones guys. Jerry people that, basically,
Yep.
they kiss his ass and they do what he wants. But
Yep. They pretty much know they have what they have to do to keep that job.
exactly. But the thing with Dak is I think the media gonna
Yeah.
start putting more and more pressure on Jerry because Jerry do
Yeah.
care what the media think,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's narcissistic and just like any type of headline, any type of post.
Yep.
But when you start ragging on him way too much, you start cutting in him and
Mm-hmm.
start saying a whole lot of shit about him, then he gonna start to change. If a whole bunch of media outlets start saying that this should be Dak's last year. Dak doesn't
Yep.
show up when it's playoff time. Listen, Dak is a good regular season quarterback.
Yep.
Good regular season quarterback.
I got
Keyword
no problem
regular
with him.
season.
I
But when
love
it
him.
comes to playoff time, like I told you in our private conversations that I'm gonna share right now, I call him Black Romo.
Yeah, you're exactly it, dude. The only thing he didn't do is hold the strings the wrong way and fumble it. That's the only thing he hasn't really did.
Exactly.
And
Because
he
like
gets no
he's a
respect.
good regular season quarterback, but right about now with everything that's been going on with Dallas, if you look
Mm-hmm.
at all the quarterbacks that was drafted before Dak, and even some that was drafted after Dak, a lot of them done won MVPs, then
Mm-hmm.
won Super Bowls,
Yep.
and then went to either NFC or AFC championship games. He
Yep.
ain't get us nowhere near close. So as a Cowboys fan, I ain't delusional when
No.
when the other Cowboys fans be like, "Oh, this is our year. This is our year." I
Yep.
say, I hope this is our year to finally get past the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because it's a building step. You can't just be like, we're just going to win the Super Bowl, not winning playoff games. Playoff experience shows, and Kansas City did it. When I was talking a lot of times during my IDP write ups, and I kept talking about the Kansas City's defense. And then throughout the playoffs, the major thing that I brought up, I said, if Kansas City keeps playing defense like they did when Nick Bolton came back, that was the staple. Snead stepped up too. And they keep running the ball with Pacheco. And the way they were running that ball with Pacheco and committee, it was it was poised NFL playoff football, and they won it doing that.
Exactly, and that's the thing about Jerry Jones too, and the whole Dallas Cowboys staff. You notice how you just said, when Kansas City needed to make changes and needed to make adjustments, they did that in order,
Mm-hmm.
to get to where they got, and they basically the dynasty of this era.
Yeah. Yep.
See,
Yep.
with Jerry Jones, he don't want to change nothing. He don't want to adjust. He don't want to adapt. He still think, like it's the 90s.
Yeah, he sure
You
does.
know what I'm saying? Him and Vince McMahon sometimes is the same people to me. And we're gonna
Yeah.
get into that. They don't want to adapt. They
Mm-hmm.
old, billionaire white men that's stuck in their ways. And
Yep.
so
And
you
no one's
see
gonna
how
change him.
WWE, you see how WWE is better now that Vince McMahon is gone.
Oh
And
yeah.
you see how the Raiders got better when, rest in peace, Al Davis. I
Yes.
don't want Jerry to die, but I do
No.
want him to step down.
Yeah, and
And
that's
then
it's
maybe the
hard.
Dallas Cowboys to get better.
Yeah, and you would everybody wants that, and that's been said since the '90s. But the thing is he always puts his has. That's what ended up ending it with him and Jimmy Jones or Jimmy
Yeah.
Johnson. It was like,
See, that was the last, in my mind, that was the last one of the last best coaches that we had because we
Yep.
had Bill Parcells too. But if
Yep.
you notice, Bill
Switzer.
Parcells is different from a Jason Garrett or a
Yep.
Mike McCarthy. He ain't going for that.
Mm-mm.
All of
Nope.
that comes with Jerry. Them
Mm-hmm.
dudes, they'll go with it because I don't know if they ain't strong minded or strong willed or just want to keep their job, whatever
Yep.
the case may be. But something in Dallas, a lot of Dallas need to change. And before we even look at the field issues, we got to start at the top.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that. But overall, I mean, even as a Rams fan, I do like your team, the team setup, what CD Lamb was able to do last year. Again, he did something that Amari Cooper couldn't do, which was take that next step into being a superstar receiver. Now he just needs help. You guys have amazing tight ends, and now you've bled out the running backs. You're going into it with Dowdle, and it's like, all right, I see that this is going to be a passing team, but why not go out and get someone cheap like Khalil Herbert or something like that right now? Somebody that could come in, like make a play for Zach Moss. I mean, they kind of just thought that they were going to be okay with what they did, and they didn't get any help for CD Lamb either, other than Brandon Cooks. And you never know when one hit can take him out or if he's going to, disappear. I like the setup, but we just need one more piece on that offense.
See, and here's the thing: we did draft a wide receiver, from Southeastern, Missouri State.
Yep.
But and I agree with you on a lot of things that you said. But here's another problem that I got, with Dallas, and it's been like this for like the past 3, 4, maybe years. We don't make no type of noise or do nothing when it comes to free agency.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that's another one of our problems and everything that you had just stated. I don't even think that right about now we should be a pass first team because
No.
Dak either throws it too high or he throws it too hard because he's thinking too much. He's trying to make a play instead of making the play. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And there's a
Exactly.
difference.
Yeah, there's a
So
difference. You're right. Like there's
so
a
with
time
us
when
draft, what? Yeah. So in our defense, with us drafting, this wide receiver, do give us another option. We still got time to make some type of noise before the trade deadline.
oh yeah,
And I also want to say, in Amari Cooper's defense, he went to Cleveland and balled out.
yeah, he did. Oh,
So,
that
so
guy
I'm
won me
kind
a
of looking at,
championship.
so yeah, so I'm kind of looking at that like maybe Amari Cooper wasn't the problem in Dallas
There
because
it
he
is.
went and played with Joe Flacco. A lot of people that thought they didn't even know that he was still in the league.
Yeah.
They didn't even know he was still around.
Yep.
And
Or could play.
he wound up what winning the comeback player of the year.
Yep. Yeah.
So that ought to show you, maybe Cleveland ain't the dead spot. I ain't gonna say it's the resurrection spot, but Flacco making it look like that. Him and
It
Amari
is.
Cooper in their defense.
Hey man, they'll have a good team this year. It's gonna be definitely fun. It's gonna be exciting, man. So let's jump around. Let's get right to it. You were talking about Vince
Let's get right
McMahon
to it.
wrestling, dude. Let's do it. Do you agree with Cody the champion? Do you like Damian Priest as a champion right now? The direction they're going? How's it flowing for you, man?
You know what? I'm glad that Cody finally finished the story. It
Yeah.
was only about damn time
Yeah, man. They made us really
because
work on that one.
we knew that it was coming, but a lot of us from last year WrestleMania ain't know that we was gonna have to wait a whole year,
Yeah.
for it. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? But I'm
that's it.
glad I'm glad with how they built it up. I'm glad there's, a Rose could finally say that they WWE champion. And as far as, Damian Priest go, I'm gonna make this bold claim, wrestling fans, he's basically the new era Scott Hall.
Yeah.
He was able to
Okay.
get a world heavyweight title. That's something that Scott Hall wasn't able to do. If
Mm-hmm.
you look at Damian Priest, he got the same, you know, build set, the
Yep.
same, moves as Scott
Moves.
Hall. He took, a couple of, his moves, but
Yep.
that's what you do, when you influence. And
Yeah, man.
I like this new era that
Yeah.
that is going there. I'm gonna
That's
just
what you
sum it up
said,
as
man.
a whole. I like the new era. I like the new titles. I like that they ain't all different color, looking like toys and stuff like that. I
Yep.
like what they did with the tag team belts. I just like the whole new era that they going in.
Yeah,
That's
this
just it. Bye, Vince.
yeah. That's that, and again it goes back to that. Like I listen to a lot of Talk is Jericho, And Jericho
Yeah.
brings up a lot of funny moments of Vince, a lot of bad moments of Vince, a lot of like other moments of Vince, and stories of Vince that people just tell in the background. And he always has his Vince voice. He's like, "Oh yeah, just do it, Jericho."
Yeah,
And
I think everybody do the Vince voice when they imitate him. It don't
yeah,
matter what wrestling podcast you
yeah,
watch or who being interviewed, whether if they from back in the day or somebody current
yeah.
right now, they always do the Vince voice.
Yeah, they got it. Growing up when he was on the the commentary. That's kind of like a little of the heyday, the mid to late '80s. That was always fun
Because
to hear
nobody
him.
knew.
Yeah, no one knew, and he'd be like,
Nobody knew that
"Oh,
he was the owner.
yep," and he's just sitting there in daylight. And that's sometimes that's the kayfabe. That was the best about the non-internet years because you could hide things like that and keep it under wraps. But then, of course, it led to like some crazy ass times too, because I mean, people getting sliced with little razors and things like that.
Yeah,
Walk
I
into the
read and
ring.
heard all the stories. You know, Vince was bold and brave, for what
Yes.
he was able to do in
Hmm.
the 80s and the 90s. If you look at it now,
Yep.
Triple H is what Vince used to be,
Yes.
innovative, bringing up new concepts and,
Hmm.
bringing, mainstream attention to it. A lot of people, they see the WWE now
Yep.
and they don't know how far it had actually came to where it is now. People don't understand, the territory
Yep.
side of things and,
80.
everything basically being under the NWA banner and
Yep.
doing that and going from the Monday Night Wars and different wrestling companies popping up, whether if it's TNA or AEW, Ring of Honor, that he basically still got to somewhat fend and fight off. It's like he kills the competition, but the competition kill themselves with some of the things that they do. If you really understand and know the backstory about some of these companies.
Yeah, yeah, and it gets crazy. I mean, going back to the Jeff Hardy drunk, match when he went out there and shouldn't have been out there, and he's just flying all over the
Yeah,
place, and that's
that
right
was a
after.
bad look.
Yeah,
That
that
was a
was a
bad
very
look.
bad look, and then you have the injury, what happened with Dean Ambrose a few pay-per-views ago, and everything like that. So it just keeps going back to it left and right with these other companies that sometimes that they are looked at unsafe, but sometimes they have to do that in order to get some of those eyes off the WWE product to separate themselves.
Definitely. You know what? I tell people all the time because they be like, "Oh, why do you watch wrestling? It's fake and all of this other stuff." And I tell them this: go watch 1998 Hell in a Cell match, Undertaker and Mick Foley.
Yeah.
And as Mick Foley was that fake when he got thrown from 20 feet in the air and landed on the table, you can't fake shit like that or going through
No,
the cage.
no.
As Psycho Sid when he was on, Monday Nitro when he jumped off the top turnbuckle on Scott Steiner and his leg just
Woo!
snapped like that. Ask him if that shit is fake or not.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
That's definitely it, man. That's definitely it. Well, we're getting down to the last 9 minutes around here that we got. So you brought three things
Yeah.
to the plate. So what do you want to go? Let's do it. Let's get the blunt trauma going, brother.
I'm gonna ask
Yeah.
you first. I'm gonna pass you the first. I'm gonna pass you the blunt first. Give me your top three wrestlers of all time.
Oh, dude, it's easy. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, Macho Man Randy Savage, and Hulk Hogan. Each era through the the Macho Man and Hulk Hogan lived through me. I am literally that 80s kid that walks around talking about say your prayers, take your vitamins, and oh yeah. Stuff like that, man. And Stone Cold Steve Austin, I think, actually taught me to grow a pair of nuts.
Hey, who didn't want to knock their boss out? You heard?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Oh, dude, and I mean, you got everything go back. I mean, the Bret Hart knocking the boss out, and
Yeah, he
it's
actually
hard to
did it.
turn that down.
Hey,
But
listen, Vince is a brave man, but I don't care what nobody say. I ain't gonna let you get a fair
yeah,
one off on me. It
yeah,
just
a big
you
old
got to earn it.
yeah, dude,
I don't care
Eh,
what the situation is.
dude,
Here's
that's
here's
crazy.
my next one for you. You know why the blunt still in rotation your
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Give me your three favorite rappers, either current, back in the day, or somebody or three musicians, artists that influenced you.
All right. See, I went, you see, if you stuck rappers, I was going to stick at rappers, but man, it's easy. Bobby Brown taught me how to, approach a lady and the right things to say to a lady to dance. I mean, rock with you. If you watch that whole walk with you video, man, it's cheesy. It's cheesy when he calls her thickness, but I'm just
But it
like,
was fly for back in the day.
it was, man, and that fire, and he was like, he was just doing his moves. And but then you get to On Our Own and things like that. And my prerogative, of course, but it just I went with everything. And the Bobby Brown Bobby CD is just amazing. And DJ Magic Mike, literally, I'll throw in also Elite Force, which is Simon Shackleton. So all three of those artists really took the late 80s, early 90s, took their music and then strung it together. Of course, Spice One and Rob Zombie would have something to do with that too, because Rob Zombie would always remix a lot of his albums into techno, and he had an industrial sound too. So all those artists, but those main three really did it. But what really puts Mike and Simon really in a class of their own is because the friendship that me and my friends have been able to maintain with Mike and then Simon
Okay.
all these years being able to talk to me and send me messages and just being a great artist and understanding it. I think the connection with the artist really took those two to the next level.
Right. So basically, your playlist is a gumbo. It's mixed with a little bit of everything in it, but it's good at the end of the day.
Yes, exactly. It's good.
All right. So, like I said, the blunt is still your way. You're
Yeah, yeah,
saying you still smoking. We bring in the pain.
yeah. Let's
Give me
do it.
your top three, sporting events that you want to go to that's on your bucket list. Before you check out, before you walk the plank,
Yeah,
where you want to go.
dude, it's easy. WrestleMania, Rams
Right.
home game. Woo!
Right.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it, man. And man, I think I forgot my other one. I because I'm like I just like that. And Super Bowl. I mean, and the thing is if I could have got the if I actually had somebody call me up. His dad was the manager for Motorhead. So when Triple H
Okay.
went out to LA for the WrestleMania, he gave him two tickets to both nights. But he called me Friday night and said, "Can you get here for Sunday night?" And I'm like, "Bro, I can't get to LA in a day to watch it." But he had the ticket to go see it, and that would have been the Rams Stadium. That would have been WrestleMania, all in the one kind of scheme of things. And Super Bowl's kind
Yeah,
of
that's
close to that.
dope.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
so
dope.
that's one of those things that really makes it. But now we have SummerSlam in Cleveland. So how
Yeah,
about
I'm
you?
a, I'm definitely trying to go to that one. Oh,
Yeah,
and rest in peace to the lead singer of Motorhead.
yeah. Let me. Hey,
Yeah.
King of Kings. You own it, King of Kings. Yeah. All right, man. We got about it's got us on 4 minutes. See, I knew we could talk for a long time. Give us your three.
All right, I'm gonna start with my sporting events. Number one, Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Definitely need to go to a Super Bowl before I kick the bucket.
yeah.
WrestleMania, definitely, that was basically a given. So, we share that. And
Mm-hmm.
I want to go to an NBA finals, not just the game one of the finals, but I want to go to a deciding game
Yes.
where it's a game seven where somebody gotta win, somebody gotta lose, somebody gotta hold up that championship. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be in there when the confetti fall and all
Yeah.
of that other shit. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
I know that the NBA Finals, Game 7, Lakers versus Celtics, all the rings tied against each other. Winner goes ahead in championships.
Yeah,
Uh,
if it's purple and yellow confetti or if it's green and white confetti, I don't care what team
woo,
confetti is. I'm trying to be there and do the whole holding up the trophy and Adam Silver and all of that stuff. That's the
yeah,
only game as far as the NBA Finals I want to do.
yes, that's amazing. All right, let's kick it back. Three musical artists.
It took me a while to think about this, but I'm gonna just stick with basically my core, what I've been sticking with. Number one, Tupac.
Yeah.
Number two, Notorious B.I.G.
Oh,
and Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? That's basically my three. If I had to make it five, I would
yeah.
put Nas at my number four, and then
Oh,
that's when it started getting tricky when you're thinking about that last spot. But
yeah.
one day, me and you gonna get together, and we're gonna have a bracket, and we're gonna do a top 10.
We are. We are. That's actually, dude, that's gonna happen real soon. Actually, we should just make that our next show. That would be
Yeah,
awesome
we could
because
definitely do that. I'm with it.
Yeah, because I mean, there's just I because outside of my five, then it gets a little hard. I mean, Ice Cube's up there. That's when I start talking about locksmith stuff like that. All right, you know what number the last set of questions is?
Last
It's
one.
your famous wrestler.
I want to hear the
HBK Shawn
macho
Michaels.
say.
I got HBK Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
I got Sting.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Woo!
Scorpion, I don't know if people can see, but got the Scorpion tattoo.
Yep, I see it.
Because
I see it.
that's my zodiac sign. And I'm gonna take it throwback. This is the first wrestler that my granddad, God rest his soul, has ever bought me in my life. And it was Ron Simmons.
Yes, yes.
So for
Boot
sentimental
the
value,
man.
I'm putting Ron Simmons on number
Yes.
3.
Ain't
Damn.
nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. A lot of people in this industry would agree with that because Ron Simmons is a legend. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
The whole Farouk, the dude, the Nation of Domination was the perfect recipe to make The Rock.
Plus, and that was my granddad's favorite tag team, Doom. This is
Yeah,
when Teddy Long would wear the do rag.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? The long do rag. And my granddad used to back in the day. I don't know if you remember, WCW had cards.
yeah. I
Yeah, and he used to buy me the cards. And for some reason, I had a lot of Doom and Ron Simmons cards, and that was the first wrestler that he bought me. So it was just like, all right, I like this dude. You know what I'm saying? Even through when he got the WWE and they had him looking like some Spartacus type shit before he went to the Nation of Domination. You remember the blue helmet? Like
yeah. Oh, dude,
that
that
was
was wild.
corny,
That was
but he
corny.
was still whooping ass though,
Yes, he was. He
and
was
he
still running through
legitimately
people.
tough.
Yep. He was always one of those powerhouse wrestlers. All right, man. This looks like this is gonna be we're gonna have to end it right here on that. We're gonna get more into this. Well, you brought three topics. I was gonna like, man, this is gonna be crazy. I was like to fit all this in, but man, we talked about a lot of things in this
Hey man,
podcast,
you
man.
you brought me back outside. Now that I'm
Let's
back,
do it.
in my element, I'm doing it. Like I said, you brought the blunt. I mean, you brought the pain, excuse me. I
Yeah.
brought the blunt and we exchanged.
And that's how it
Hardcore
is.
to the brain. We came to bring the pain.
Oh, yeah. That's how we do
Fly
it. All
inside the
right.
astral plane.